For the safety and protection of this courageous individual, we have chosen to keep certain identifying details and location information confidential. The threats against their well-being are real and serious. When someone makes the life-changing decision to surrender their life to Jesus Christ, they often face tremendous challenges and opposition. These brave souls who choose faith over comfort, truth over convenience, need our unwavering support now more than ever. Your role matters. Whether through heartfelt prayer, words of encouragement, or simply letting them know their sacrifice hasn't gone unnoticed, you can make a profound difference. React to the video, comment your thoughts, prayers, and location. Every person who takes a stand for their faith deserves to know they're not walking this difficult path alone. Their courage inspires others, their testimony changes lives, and their willingness to endure hardship for their beliefs deserves our deepest respect and appreciation. My name is Abdullahi Musa, born in Kano State, northern Nigeria. I was born into a Muslim family where life was nothing but struggle. My father had 4 wives, and from them came 23 children. I was one of the middle ones, and every day of my childhood was marked by hunger and competition for survival. My father had no stable source of income. Sometimes he would farm millet and maize, sometimes trade cola nuts or small goods, but nothing ever lasted. Each wife had to fight to feed her own children, and it made our household full of tension. I remember waking up many mornings with nothing to eat. I would hear my mother crying in the night because she could not provide for us. My siblings and I often went to school barefoot, with no uniforms, sitting in class with empty stomachs. Poverty was our constant companion. At home, quarrels between my father's wives were almost daily. Each wife accused the other of receiving more attention or food. We, the children, suffered the most. I often thought of running away from home just to escape the shame. But there was nowhere to go, no uncles or relatives willing to help. That childhood marked me deeply. I grew up with emptiness in my heart, longing to escape poverty at any cost. I told myself as a young boy that if I ever found a way out, I would take it, no matter what it demanded from me. At 21, after finishing secondary school in Sabangari, Kano, I could not continue education. I searched for work, but no one wanted to employ an unskilled young man. Days passed with me roaming the hot streets, hungry and tired, rejected everywhere. One day, an older man from our community noticed me. He drove a big car, always dressed in fine kaftans, and carried himself with pride. Unlike most men in our area, he seemed successful. He asked me why I was always roaming around, and when I explained, he smiled and said, "If you want to escape poverty, I can show you a way." That evening, he took me to a mansion in somewhere in Kano. Inside, I met wealthy Muslim businessmen, politicians, and top traders. There was food, drinks, music, and luxury everywhere. For the first time in my life, I felt noticed, sitting in an air-conditioned room among powerful men. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you join us. We're always excited to welcome thoughtful people like you into this growing community. But soon I discovered the truth. It was not just a social gathering. It was a secret homosexual club where young men were exploited by the rich. I was terrified, but when I thought of my hungry siblings and my struggling mother, I silenced my fear. That night, I was initiated. They promised me money, clothes, and connections, warning me that leaving would cost my life. Poverty pushed me into the trap. From the start, my life changed. I received money regularly, enough to send food home, buy clothes, and gain respect in my neighborhood. People saw me as successful, but they never knew my secret. My duty soon became clear: to lure other young men. The club depended on fresh boys to satisfy its members. I targeted poor boys from Kano, Kaduna, and even Sokoto, offering food, little gifts, and promises of success. Some resisted, but most eventually gave in. For 17 years, I lived a double life. Outwardly respected, inwardly enslaved. Many nights, after leaving the parties, I lay in bed asking, "What have I become?" I still remember one night somewhere in Kano. The mansion was filled with laughter, music, and the smell of expensive wine. Young boys, barely 18, were being handed over to wealthy men. I stood in a corner, holding a glass, watching one of the boys I had recruited. His eyes met mine for a moment, filled with fear. I looked away, ashamed, but my pockets were heavy with cash. That night I could not sleep. His face haunted me. I realized I was no longer just a victim. I had become a chain in the circle of bondage. At 38, the emptiness grew unbearable. The money no longer satisfied me. Then one night, after a party in Kano, I fell into deep sleep. I found myself walking in a dark tunnel filled with screams and chains. Fear gripped me until a bright light appeared. In that light, a presence surrounded me. He revealed that he had seen my tears, my sin, and my chains. He let me know my life had been wasted, but he was giving me another chance. He told me to leave the darkness and follow him. When I awoke calling Jesus' name, trembling and in tears, I cried out knowing that the light I saw in my dream was Jesus. That morning, I knew my life had changed. Because I had the money and freedom to movement, I ran away from their reach. Quietly, I joined a Bible study group some in Kaduna State. Each teaching felt like water to my thirsty soul. The peace I had never known finally entered my heart. When the club leaders discovered I was turning to Christianity, they sent me a mail. They warned me, change your religion if you want, but never leave this circle. If you do, you stake your life. As you follow along with this powerful testimony of transformation, we invite you to engage with the community. Let us know where you're watching from and share your thoughts on how his journey resonates with you. Your reactions and location in comments help create a meaningful dialogue around life-changing experiences like these. They reminded me of others who had left and died mysteriously. Fear gripped me, but the peace I found in Christ was stronger. I could not return to darkness after seeing the light. That was when the attacks began. The first attempt happened on Zaria Road one night. A car blocked me, and masked men stepped out with weapons. Suddenly, a military vehicle appeared with blinding headlights. The men panicked and fled. When I looked, the car was gone. I knew it was Jesus. The second was in a restaurant near Kano Central Market. A waiter brought me a drink I had not ordered. A voice within warned me not to touch it. Later that night, I heard someone else collapsed from the same drink. Again, Jesus saved me. The third was an arson attempt. My room in Sabangari was set on fire while I slept, the door locked from outside. The lock broke open by itself, allowing me to escape before the flames spread. No explanation was found, but I knew heaven intervened. There were more than 5 attempts, but each time, the Lord delivered me. You now know why you or anyone you genuinely love be in such condition. Years of immorality left scars. I developed a serious health condition that weakens me daily. Some days I can barely stand. Some nights I cannot sleep. At first, I hid in shame, but later I realized my pain was a warning for others. Whether this testimony speaks to your own struggles, offers hope for someone you know, or simply moves you in some way, your voice matters. Join the conversation and be part of a community where real stories of change inspire and encourage others. Your reactions and comments help create a meaningful dialogue around life-changing experiences like these. One evening in Kaduna, I collapsed in my small rented room. My chest tightened, my body shook with uncontrollable pain. Alone, I fell to the floor, clutching my stomach. I thought I would die right there on the cold cement floor. In desperation, I whispered the only prayer I knew, "Jesus, please, don't let me die like this." Moments later, the pain eased enough for me to breathe. I lay there in tears, realizing my health was the price of my past life, yet His mercy still kept me alive. I tell young men, the quick road to riches ends in chains. Sin leaves scars that no money can erase. My weakness today reminds me of the trap I once embraced, but also of God's mercy that keeps me alive. I saw boys I once lured into the club waste away. One joined at 19. For a while, he flaunted his wealth. 10 years later, I met him again. His body was weak, his eyes hollow, his spirit broken. He told me he wished he had never joined. Months later, he died. I met another victim at a clinic in Kano City. He was sitting outside on a wooden bench, his once broad shoulders now shrunken, his clothes hanging loosely on his frail frame. When he saw me, tears filled his eyes. He grabbed my hand and whispered, "Brother Abduli, they told us this was life, but look at me now. I have nothing left, no health, no peace, no God." His words pierced my heart. 2 weeks later, I heard the news that he had died. That day, I wept like a child, realizing the blood of many was on my hands. Many others faced the same fate: disease, depression, or early death. Riches vanished, power crumbled, leaving only tears. Each memory haunts me, but it also fuels me to speak boldly so others will not fall. Looking back, I see how my father's choices shaped my path. His polygamy without provision created poverty, division, and desperation. Children grew up neglected, unloved, and vulnerable. That environment pushed me into darkness. Muslim men should never take more wives and children than they can care for. It is not strength, it is destruction. Christian parents, too, must be watchful. The world is full of traps. Pray, guide, and know your children. My journey has been long and painful, but I thank God that Jesus found me. He saved me from death, gave me peace, and gave me hope when I had none. To every believer, take your walk with God seriously. The world offers shortcuts, but they end in sorrow. Hold on to Jesus, the only source of true life. Love one another, pray for one another, and encourage the young so they do not fall into the traps of wealth and sin. Stay close to God through prayer and His Word. His presence will keep you safe when enemies surround you. I am alive today not because I was strong, but because His mercy covered me.